title scene on Raw looks much different following the events from last night's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Not only did Riddle win the United States Heavyweight Championship from Bobby Lashley in a triple threat match that also included John Morrison, but The Miz won the WWE Championship after cashing in his Money in the Bank contract after Drew McIntyre had retained the title in a grueling Elimination Chamber bout. The Miz didn't do this alone. He had Lashley to soften McIntyre up for him, which leads to the possibility that MVP and Lashley made some kind of deal to offer their assistance. Tonight's Raw dealt with all of the fallout from Elimination Chamber while also setting up WWE Fastlane on March 21st. Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Floyo, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher, the Phenom Michael Bullock, fresh off another one of our legendary Raw chats as always, and the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel, Didi Woodson. And let's not waste any time. Let's dive right on in. And speak of the devil, we start off with our new WWE champion, The Miz. Miz TV championship celebration with John Morrison. But then it was interrupted. It was interrupted by Bobby Lashley and MVP. And as expected, there was a deal in place, an arrangement made by Miz and Lashley and MVP, saying that, okay, Lashley took out McIntyre, you won the belt, you benefited, we want a shot at it. Lashley wants a shot at it. Miz is like, oh, no, I'm not going to do that, and I need time. And Lashley's like, I'm not playing here. I'm going to give you 1 hour. And if you don't, I'm going to hurt you bad, and that's it. So this segment was predictable, but in this case, it was also the best possible outcome. Putting Lashley into the WWE title hunt is the best thing WWE could have done for him and for Raw as a whole. The Miz was the best version of himself for this segment. He was the cocky heel when he was listing his accomplishments, but as soon as a bigger, stronger competitor got in his face, he turned back into a coward. The A-lister is almost a throwback in that way. He doesn't care about looking cool all the time. He is always willing to take the low road because that is what bad guys do. He is sneaky, conniving, and two-faced. And when we picked up an hour later, Braun Strowman and Shane O'Mac inserted themselves into the story. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But great way to start it off here. So, MF, we were wondering what was going to happen after last night. A lot of people crying foul about The Miz winning, but it looks like he's got an immediate guest coming, and it's one we had a feeling it was going to be.
Yeah, and basically now we know the contents of that deal that The Miz and MVP had made last night at Elimination Chamber. It was that basically, if you help me, you guarantee my guy the first shot at the WWE Championship. And now it looks like Bobby Lashley is looking to collect, especially after losing the United States title. And you know what? A lot of people are going to say it. This is great for Bobby Lashley. You know, he's no longer in mid-card purgatory. Now he is in the main event. And ever since this new psychotic, evil, sadistic Bobby Lashley, the destroyer Bobby Lashley, Anthony, you know this really well from the days of Impact Wrestling. This is the Lashley we've been waiting for. And you know what? If there's one belt that he's never held in his career, has been the WWE title. He's never been the WWE champion. The only belt or major world title he's ever held was the ECW title. And that belt was, it was a nice reign and whatnot, but in all of the years that he's done, he's won the US, he's won the Intercontinental, but he's never won the big one. He's never won the richest prize in the industry. I'm going to openly admit this. I was very skeptical about how this was going to play out because I've heard a lot of rumors about a number of scenarios how this could go. For one, I heard a rumor about maybe The Miz taking the belt all the way to Mania and eventually losing it. But now, based off something that Florio sent us, Miz might not even make it to Mania as WWE champion. Now the rumor going around is that Drew's going to get back into the mix. He'll get another shot at the belt as a former champion. It could be Bobby Lashley going in as the world champion. Lashley and McIntyre at Mania. That's a pretty good fight. That's a be a man fight. For WrestleMania, I would take that. That's a good match. And it's a main event quality match. It's going to get a main event on one of the 2 nights. So obviously that's a big payoff for WWE and then some. Now, there are rumors going around maybe of a Brock Lesnar sighting, and that there could be a Lashley versus Lesnar fight probably in the pipeline. But that all hinges on if the money is right for Brock, or if even Brock wants to come back to do this. Because this could change everything for Bobby Lashley heading into WrestleMania. But right now, he's got his eyes locked on the WWE title. Miz knows it. That's why he's trying to back out. Because remember, when you're the WWE champion, you're no longer the hunter. You're the hunted. And it's one thing to try to win the belt. But as Noel's saying that Jerry Lawler said in WrestleMania after Shawn Michaels won the title, defending and keeping the WWE Championship is the hardest thing anyone can do. It's the hardest thing that can ever happen to a champion because everybody's gunning for you. Everybody. The Miz had that one moment going into WrestleMania where he did walk away with the title. But he lost it almost immediately right after Mania and became an afterthought. This reign here, as much as I was not happy about him being champion, to be honest, the sooner the belt is off him, the better it will be. I want Bobby Lashley to be the next WWE champion. I want the Destroyer running to WrestleMania with that belt because of the fact that I believe he could be better suited for the moment, bigger than The Miz. I'm sorry. You can come at me for all you want, and I don't give a crap. Bobby Lashley would be a more dominant, more fearful, and more dominating champion, a relevant champion, than The Miz. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, all I can say is, wow, I mean, way to tell it, Fletch. I mean, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. Bobby Lashley would make a better champion than The Miz, and the thing that really made me laugh was when The Miz, and Florio, you know where I'm going with this, when we had our Raw chat. What was the thing that made us laugh about The Miz with what he said?
I believe it was when he referred to himself as the Babe Ruth of WWE.
Yeah, you
and
call yourself the Babe.
And said he was calling his shot. And said he called his shot.
Yeah, Babe Ruth would be rolling in his grave right now after The Miz making a comment like that. You are nowhere near in Babe Ruth's league. Hell, you're nowhere near Bobby Lashley's league. And yeah, I mean, like you said, this whole thing we know now is there was a deal, and when Bobby Lashley wanted to cash in, Miz, well, and I know Miz fans would probably come after me, but Miz was acting like a coward. He said, "No, there was no deal. You're not getting a title shot." But Bobby Lashley's like, "Look, I'm gonna collect what I want. You got 1 hour, or I'm gonna break you in half." So, yeah, Bobby Lashley would make a better champion than this, shall I say, fraud of a champion in The Miz. So, great segment, and yeah, there's nothing more to say. Dee Woodson, as I said just moments ago, The Miz, as far as I'm concerned, and I don't give a damn what anybody says, he is a fraud champion as far as I'm concerned.
He's going to be a paper champion. He's not going to have this thing for very long, especially with having these big men coming out of the woodworks at him. Yeah, he made a deal, and he's trying to, as Fletch said the other night, he's trying to screw the pooch. He's trying to get out of the deal. He's trying to find any way of not facing Lashley because he knows he can't beat Lashley not on his own. And therefore, we may have, Morrison on the outside doing something to just be a distraction or something to cause something that will help Miz to win. But I think this is going to be, a paper champion reign for Miz. I don't think he's going to have this thing for very long. So it was a good segment to start the show. Very newsworthy, very storyline driven. So not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Florio.
All right, and let's get into the match portion of the night. We started off with a non-title match. The new United States Heavyweight Champion Riddle squaring off against John Morrison. Singles match. Winner of the match in 11 minutes and 5 seconds. It was Riddle. MF, great way to start the in-ring portion tonight.
Yeah, great way to start the in-ring portion tonight, and more importantly, a nice start to Riddle's, I guess, newfound run as the man, the United States Heavyweight Champion. Nice, solid match, good battle. Winning the match in about in a 2.5 to 3 star match. Solid performance, no doubt about it. But I like to see, a lot of people's also been very vocal about Riddle being the champion. Riddle's, has some controversial comments that he's made in the past. There's been a little bit of some dust-ups with him outside of the ring. And, WWE's taking a big chance here with Riddle as a champion. And a lot of people's wondering, is it, did he really deserve the moment? Does he deserve the title right now with everything that's really hanging over his head? I say yes. Give the guy a chance. He's done really well in NXT. Yes, his comments have been a little controversial. I'm not going to deny that. But his in-ring ability has proven that he is worthy of the moment. He is worthy of being the United States Heavyweight Champion. Now, what he does with the title reign, that remains to be seen. But this was a non-title match. But this is always a good first step when a champion goes in, even in a non-title fight, and gets a victory. Nice momentum, nice trajectory for the new U.S. champion. 2.5 to 3. Mike Bullock. I know Floyo was able to do it how do you do it last night? I want to hear it right now. Drop it.
Bro.
It's all yours, brother.
Yeah, I knew you wanted to hear that. So, yeah, so I'm going to give this about the same rate, 2.5 to 3. A nice start for Riddle in his reign as U.S. champion. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's been some controversy about him and the comments he's made, but he is championship material. I mean, he has proven it in the ring. I mean, and like Fletch said, we got to give him a chance. And this is a good first step for him. And yeah, like we said earlier with the Miz, I mean, he is no longer the hunter, he is the hunted, and he's got to go out and prove it that he is worthy of it. I think he is. Everybody else just needs to give him a chance. So this is a good first step for him. So nothing more to say. D.D. Woodson, it is yours.
Yeah, I agree with that. That it's definitely the right rating, and was definitely a great showing uh, for Riddle coming out. After winning the title for the first time, and you know he looked great. They did a great job. So yeah, I really don't have that much more to add. So it's yours, Florio.
A 3-star match for me. Riddle and Morrison showed good chemistry last night, but they seemed to have a few issues during this match that slowed the pace down at times. There were small missteps, but they were easily noticeable. John Morrison is one of the most unique talents in WWE, but there is one thing he needs to work on. He hits a variety of kicks from every angle, but none of them ever look powerful. He has to start putting a little heat on his strikes, and he will up his game considerably. This match had a handful of cool spots, but they didn't flow together as well as they should have. If they work together a couple of times before having a title match, they will find their groove. The second half of the bout was better than the first and ended on a high note. So a solid 3 stars for this match, absolutely. So with all that, let's continue on. And this is where, unfortunately, we hit reality here. Cutout time. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods against T-Bar and Mace of Retribution. New Day win the match 2 minutes and 50 seconds. It was good to see Mia Yim back as Reckoning there. She's been out with COVID, obviously. It was good to see her. But other than that, it was a quick tag team match that didn't allow for much, but at least gave all 4 guys a minute or two in the ring. Both teams did a couple of nice spots and nothing looked off. It just didn't have the time to be anything more than what it was. Retribution appears to be on the brink of imploding as the group continues to rack up losses and suffer one embarrassing moment after another. Meanwhile, the New Day looks to be back on the path to success after losing the Raw Tag titles in the near future. Eventually, Ali is going to snap and either break up the group or they will kick him out and go their own way. Whatever happens, WWE needs to find a better way to use Mia Yim. That's how I feel. So, not much more to say there. Then we had the in-ring segment. It was decision time for the Miz, and he tried to weasel out, saying, "Oh, I need more time. I need more time." No. Braun Strowman shows up, and then on top of that, Shane O'Mac shows up, and then it will happen. Shane O'Mac made the announcement. We will have a title match next week. There's going to be a WWE Championship match next week. They penciled it in as The Miz versus Bobby Lashley, but Braun Strowman would get a match against Bobby Lashley later in the main event, and if Strowman wins, he gets added, and that becomes a triple threat match. But if he loses, then it will stay a singles match between The Miz and Bobby Lashley next week. So either way, we're guaranteed a WWE Championship match on Raw next Monday night. So with all that, I'll tell you what. I mean, my guard is up for verbal loopholes, but one way or another, it was a fine segment to set up the match. So Not much more to say. Let's continue on here. We had the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Hurt Business, Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, squaring off against the Lucha House Party. Non-title Texas Tornado Rules. And you know what that means. All 4 men, legal, in the ring at the same time. Hurt Business wins the match 5 minutes and 50 seconds. Now, if you guys want to move on from this, we can. But if you want to talk about it, we can. It's not often we get a Texas Tornado match on television anymore. But all right. I'll take it for a spin here. Fast-paced contest that highlighted how good Benjamin and Alexander have become as a duo. Even though they have their problems, they have remained one of the most fluid duos on Raw. The Luchas always seem like they are on the cusp of a real push, but it always ends up with them putting someone else over. It would be nice to see them get a solid run as the tag champs because they can have a good match with anyone. So I would probably give this about 2.5 at the absolute best. So that then we had Damian Priest against Angel Garza. Damian Priest wins the match 6 minutes and 15 seconds. Then we had some 24/7 silliness. I know you guys don't want to get into that, so I'm more than okay with that. But this wasn't a squash match because Garza got in some good offense, but it was still an entire match designed to make Priest look good. In that regard, it worked fine. Garza has been underused for months, but since he isn't being pushed, he won't be hurt by the loss. Priest gets a quick win in the bat, and Bad Bunny continues to be a presence on Raw for better or worse. Seeing a longer, more competitive match between Garza and Priest would have been great. They worked well together, and despite their size difference, Garza never quite felt like an underdog. Probably about another 2.5 or so. So then we had a backstage moment where Randy Orton, he cuts a promo talking about The Fiend and Alexa Bliss. And then we see him cough up this mysterious black liquid. Papa Shango-like stuff. That's what Bullock and I were saying. Bullock and I, during our Raw chat, we were saying, this is Papa Shango type stuff here. And I'm sure MF had to be sick to his stomach seeing his boy coughing up that mysterious liquid there. Ooh. Don't watch that segment if you're squeamish, because that was not for the weak at heart. Let me tell you that right now. So viewer discretion strongly advised. So, oh my. But nonetheless, we continue on. Oh yeah, we definitely need to address this. Yes, we've seen this before, but this was a good match here. We had Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler squaring off against Asuka and Charlotte Flair. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler win the match, 12 minutes and 20 seconds. Michael Bullock, a lot happened here. Charlotte accidentally nailed Asuka. And then, what about that uncomfortable segment we saw with her and her father? Oh my God.
Yeah, that was pretty much uncomfortable to watch there with the situation with Charlotte and Ric Flair. But anywho, getting back to this, I'll give this a solid 3 stars for the match here. I mean, this was, a good match. Basically, but yeah, everybody's talking about the with Charlotte accidentally nailing Asuka and costing the team the match here, but I'm telling you guys right now, Florio, we already talked about this. Fletch, you and Didi are hearing this. I think the seeds are being planted here for a Charlotte and Asuka Raw Women's title match at WrestleMania. You're starting to see the seeds start to slowly come into play here. And I think this was the first part. We'll definitely get more of this as the weeks go by. So, a 3-star match. Didi Woodson, it is yours.
Yeah, it's a 3-star match. Yeah, there's a very good possibility they could be going right into Asuka versus Charlotte. but of course, you after the match was over, you kind of have to take into account the segment in the back with Charlotte and her dad, and her laying out all her thoughts, and then him laying out his spiel, and then basically her just telling him go home again. So she still blames him for everything that's gone on, but at the same time, she wants to make her own name and not carry this from her dad. She wants this to be her legacy, not his legacy. So that's understandable. But yeah, I mean, the match was pretty good. It's just you know just um, that miscue shot where Charlotte takes out Asuka, and you know this is the second time they've lost because of something that's happened with Charlotte. So yeah, the trust is breaking there. So yeah, I can understand where Asuka's coming from. So not much more I'm gonna say. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, the team of Charlotte and Asuka needs to come to an end. They either need to feud over the Raw Women's title or move on from each other. This match had its moments, but went on longer than it needed to for the result we received. WWE could have accomplished everything this bout did in half the time if it wanted to. Jackson Baszler need a new team to feud with, and I believe in my heart of hearts, the Riot Squad is the best option. Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan are a great duo who have been kept down for far too long. Even though they do have Lana and Naomi and Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez to worry about down the pipeline. But it is what it is, and that's all there is to say on that. So but I will give it 3 stars for the effort. So and then of course what we saw afterwards later in the night, I mean, damn. You want to talk about uncomfortable to watch, that definitely was uncomfortable right there. So not much more to say there. Solid 3. So MF, what do you make of all this?
Yeah, I mean, you could give this about 2.5 to 3. It was a solid match. The miscue does definitely open some eyebrows, and definitely is like, oh, wait a minute. I think this might be Charlotte versus Asuka, possibly for Mania. I know the Asuka fans are like, no, don't let it be Charlotte, not her, because we already know how that ends. I think we're gonna have to wait and see how that plays out. But if that's the case, let bygones be bygones on that one. As far as her and Flair goes, I mean, look, Flair cost her not once but twice, and the question is it that she's trying to make legacy? Or are they setting everybody up for a major turn again? Because remember, this has happened before where Flair screwed up. She tells him to get out, and he comes back, and it actually helps her win down the line. So I don't know. I'm thinking they're recycling something here, and we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. But maybe this all could be a big mirage right before our very eyes. Now, I know they're obviously trying to do something because the original storyline got blown to bits. We're just going to have to wait and see how this plays out. So there's really nothing more to say. Florio's yours.
Yes, indeed. Let's see. Then from there, we had Sheamus squaring off against Jeff Hardy, and Sheamus wins the match in 10 minutes and 20 seconds. Didi Woodson, another solid match here.
Yeah, it was solid. But of course, also you could say this is also another repeat because we had that huge feud with Sheamus and Hardy because of the incident with Elias and Jeff's rental car. But yeah, I mean this was a very good match. They did very well. Went toe to toe. I'm going to give it about 2.5 to 3. I thought they did very well. Um, so yeah, not much more I'm going to add. It's yours.
Yeah, this was theme of the night. This was you could rate it between 2.5 to 3 here. I could give it 3 easily um, for this. I mean, let me see. There we are. Sheamus and Hardy know how to complement each other in the ring, and they were able to put on a solid match with no buildup behind it. Sheamus was made to look like a top contender leading up to Elimination Chamber, and it's great to see WWE keeping him strong until it figures out what to do with him. Jeff Hardy is one of those guys who can lose a million times and always be accepted when he gets another push, so he won't suffer from this loss. So solid 3 stars again. So MF, your thoughts?
Solid 3. I thought the body work of everybody involved was good, solid. There's really nothing more for me to add here. So yeah, it's all yours. Bullet.
Yeah, 3 stars for me. I agree. I mean, yeah, there's really nothing more to add to it. So let's move on, Florio.
Yeah. And then from there, then was that uncomfortable backstage segment with Darlin and Ric Flair. We already addressed that. Talk about randomly thrown together matches here. Naomi and Lana versus Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. Naomi and Lana win the match in a minute 35. Um, this was a dud. This was the worst fight of the night. This was a ho-hum diva fight, if I'm going to be honest with you. This was reminiscent of the tag team match that originally spawned the hashtag Give Divas a Chance all those years ago. It was short and did nothing to make either team look good. Nothing more to say on that. Absolute dud. Worst fight of the night. Then we had the phenomenal AJ Styles squaring off against Ricochet. AJ Styles wins in 3 minutes and 50 seconds. And I can't believe we're actually going to be talking smack about a match between these two guys who are capable of giving us incredible matches. But no, this was about 1.5 to 2 at best. I mean, with the exception of the Hurricanrana, they almost screwed up everything. But everything Ricochet and Styles did looked good. They just didn't do enough to make this a memorable encounter. Omos attacking Ricochet after the match felt designed to build a new feud between Styles and Ricochet, which should allow them to have a few great fights down the line. And then the main event, Braun Strowman, Bobby Lashley. If Braun Strowman won, he would be added. It would be a triple threat match for the title next week. A loss keeps it a singles match. Winner of the match in 4 minutes and 20 seconds, the Destroyer, Bobby Lashley. Lashley wins the match. It stays a singles match for the title next week. Similar to Priest versus Garza, this short bout was designed to put Lashley over, and it worked beautifully. He kicked out of Braun Strowman's running power slam and beat him clean to keep him out of the title picture. It was pleasantly surprising to see WWE refrain from trying to shoehorn Strowman into the match, which I honestly thought they were going to do. Taking out the WWE champion after the match was over was the icing on the cake. The Hurt Business continues to be one of the best things on Raw, and with Lashley looking more like a main event star than ever, the group might be unstoppable. So it's going to be 2 stars for the effort, but it definitely served its purpose here. It's not often we say short matches serve purpose, but this one did. So MF, I mean, you waxed poetic about Lashley earlier. Now you've got even more reason to do so. And the big question is he gonna win the title next week? Yes or no?
Not yet. I don't think it's going to happen. Not yet. I think it's going to be a screwy finish, or Morrison's going to try to get involved, or we might even get a Drew McIntyre sighting. I don't think it's going to happen. Would I love for it to happen? Yes. But I don't think this is going to be the moment where they pull the trigger. Not yet. I'd rather it be at Fastlane. I think Fastlane would be the perfect time to do the switch, and then have Lashley onward to WrestleMania. But we're just gonna have to wait and see how this plays out. Right now, for me, Bobby Lashley is on the trajectory now where he could become the WWE champion going to WrestleMania. He's got that look. He just took out Braun Strowman, guys. Braun Strowman is a former Universal Champion, and he took him out with ease.
Tossed him around like he was a cruiserweight, for goodness sakes, or a Cabbage Patch doll.
Dude, and Braun Strowman is no slouch. Braun Strowman is not he is not a sack of potatoes. This boy can yeek when I mean it too, man. And he almost looked like one of those TikTok memes. Oh my God, wee! That's what you were seeing the whole night with Strowman getting thrown around by Lashley, man. I couldn't believe it. This was a good, solid 2-star fight. Anthony, you're absolutely right on everything that you just saw, man. There's really nothing for me to add. I hope Michael Bullock got the chuckles out of his system, because I know he's probably dying laughing right about now. So because of what I just did.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I got it. So nothing more to say. Mike Bullock, it's yours. Strowman just he had no chance. And Miz, oh, brother, you better hold on to that belt real tight now, bro, because there's a cyborg about to destroy your ass next week.
And let's just say also, Fletch, nobody's going to feel sorry for the Miz when that happens. But
nope.
Yep, nope. So yeah, 2 stars for the effort here. I mean, would I like to see it happen next week? I think I'm with Fudge on this one. I don't see it happening. I think it's going to be a screwy finish. Maybe Lashley will get a rematch at Fastlane. Then that's when I think Lashley is going to win the title, and we're going to get the payoff with Lashley and McIntyre at WrestleMania. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to add to it. So, Didi, what's in it is yours.
Yeah, this was about a 2-star bout. Not only was this a lot of action in less than 5 minutes, but it was also a great show for Lashley. It was also a good show for Braun, because Braun did some pretty amazing things. Also, I mean, he threw Lashley around a few times, but yeah, Lashley bouncing out of the finishers and and everything that he did, that made him look really really good tonight. So it was definitely a solid ending for this edition of Raw. And we still, if Lashley doesn't get the title, we still have Strowman, who could still step up there and take it away from the Miz. As for next week, I would love to see it happen. I'd love to see Miz squashed, but yeah, I don't know that it's going to happen this fast. But I do predict, though, that Miz is not going to be holding this title past Fastlane. So not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Florio.
All right. MF had to step away for a minute, so we're gonna start we'll have to start the overall review with Michael Bullock here. So Bullock, hot and cold in the middle edition of Raw as always tonight, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was an okay show. I mean, it wasn't the greatest, but you had some good matches. You had some newsworthy moments, but you also had some bad matches as well. So I'm going to give it about 6 out of 10. I mean, that's about as high as I'm going to go. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to add to it. So, D, what's in it is yours.
Yeah, I'll give it 6 out of 10. I mean, this is kind of lackluster, but the big thing in it was the fact that we did build up some storylines. We did have some fallout from the pay per view, and they fell through with what they said they were going to do this time compared to like at the pay per view when they didn't come up with an opponent for Oscar, when they just kind of let that completely drop. So yeah, all in all, it was it was an okay Raw. It could be better, but like I said, as long as we're building the storylines, then the show is at least relevant that way. So not much more I'm going to add. So I will hopefully see you all Friday if I don't crash out before the show like I did last week. So good night, guys.
All right, good night, Didi. We'll see you Friday for the Cerebral Smack Talk. But yeah, like I said, it was a hot and cold edition of the show tonight, but it did a decent job laying the groundwork for Fastlane. The Lashley build was strong, but there weren't many interesting developments beyond that. I would give this a thumbs in the middle. I would probably give this about a 5 to 5.5, if I'm going to be honest with you. So, MF, if you're back in, let's we'll get a quick overall Raw thought from you, or all right. I think MF's still away. So let us know when you're back, MF, so we can get your quick overall thought on the show tonight. So with that being said, while we wait for MF to come back in, let's get into my my latest Tony's take on Impact Wrestling and 205 Live, and start as always with Impact Wrestling, and just waiting for this to load up. So yeah, all right. So here we go. Impact Wrestling went down. Of course, they got some new detail, new things coming down here. They have a pre-show now, which is called Before the Impact, which starts at 7:00 on Access TV, and then there was a match with Decay beating Triple XL, and we started off with an X Division Championship match, TJP against Josh Alexander. TJP wins the match. This was the fight of the night, 3 3/4 stars. Some good, solid back and forth for just over 10 minutes. You can't complain about that. Willie Mack versus Daivari versus Suicide versus Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel wins the match. 2-star match. Too short to get too many more stars, but it was fun while it lasted. Sean Hernandez against Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona wins the match, so that was a 2-star match. Then we had Rena, and then this was the moment that MF was waiting for. FinJuice, David Finlay, and Juice Robinson. They actually wrestled in the Impact Zone, and they went up against Reno Scum, and FinJuice made quick work of them. Within it was a short match. I don't have an exact time, but MF, I know you wanted to address this. I don't know if you're back in yet, but as we await him to come back in. All right. But I'll tell you, I mean, it was the first time I saw these guys work, and it didn't feel like 3 minutes to me, which is probably a good thing. And the Good Brothers come out and they love the young guys. they love when boys come in to pop the territory, and they remember when they were carrying their bags, and Carl Anderson welcomes them, offers to buy them beer skis, and Gallows said they should buy a few shots of their whiskey, thank them, and have a big party. And Juice says, hey, it's not 2015. We're not young boys anymore. And Finlay makes reference to being a bit of a lightweight, maybe some issues down the road. Who knows? Maybe we could see a tag title feud between these four down the line. I know MF would love that. So then from there, Tennille Dashwood against Nevaeh. Tennille Dashwood wins the match, 2.5-star match, solid outing. And Tennille needs these kind of outings to establish herself as a top contender to the Knockouts Championship. Old school rules match, Moose versus Tommy Dreamer, and I believe it was Moose who won the match. 3-star match, and solid match here. It was an 8 out of 10. Really good show. Damn good opener. Some interesting stuff set up for later. Fun main event to set up the main title feud. And Impact serves its purpose in the non-WWE universe. So so that was an 8 out of 10. And I do apologize for the slowness here. This upcoming week, just need a moment here while I try to find this. Very, very slow. Just trying to see what's on for the next show. Oh, here we go. Okay, tomorrow on the show, as it comes up here, some interesting. We have we're gonna have on the Before the Impact pre-show, we're gonna see Fallah Bahh square off against Johnny Swinger. Dina against Jake something in a tables match. Kimberly and Susan will square off against Jordan Grace and Jazz. And then Willie Mack, Trey Miguel, and Josh Alexander against Chris Bay, Ace Austin, and Black Taurus. And that'll be tomorrow night on Impact Wrestling. So, but the Fallah Bahh Johnny Swinger match, that will be on the for the Impact. So keep an eye out on that. So with that being said, let's quickly get into 205 Live, and then we'll call it a night here. Let's see what we have. Okay, here we go. The Bollywood Boys and Ever Rise. Oh, yeah, that sounds like a fun team. Bolly Rise against Kurt Stallion, Jake Atlas, Ashante D. Adonis, and Mansoor in an 8-man tag. I think we all know who wins this one here. The babyface team, Stallion, Atlas, Adonis, and Mansoor, they win the match. 9 minutes and 58 seconds. Chaotic 8-man where nobody got a lot of time to shine. The sole purpose seemed to be to continue the Bolly Rise issues. The ending with everything breaking down was fun, though. 2 3/4 stars. Arya Davari against August Gray. Arya Davari in 6:55. The distraction finish was telegraphed, but what we got was rather solid. Gray continues to be fun on the show, and Nese and Davari are playing their roles as angry veterans well. Fine, though. I was hoping for a little more. 2.5 stars. 6.5 out of 10. Average edition of 205 Live that continued the Bolly Rise drama and also continues Nese and Davari's crusade against the fresh faces on the brand. Both matches were solid, but never clicked into a higher gear. Even with just an average show, it was still a fun watch and way to spend 30 minutes. So that's all there is to say on that. So, MF, if you're back in, I'd like to get a quick thought from you on Raw before we wrap up the evening here. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. Everyone, thank you all so very much for tuning in. We'll be back with you on Wednesday night for for Wednesday Night Mayhem. MF will host that, as we'll review AEW Dynamite and NXT. Thursday, Strictly Sports, not much of a docket. Brian Dozier announcing his retirement. We'll recap the NHL outdoor games. And then in the main event, we will talk about the NBA All-Star rosters, from the starters to the reserves. And that'll go down Thursday. And then Friday, Cerebral Smack Talk. We'll review Friday Night SmackDown and then do this all again next week. So that's it. So until Wednesday night for Mayhem, it's Anthony Florio here for Good Old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, the Phenom Michael Bullock, the Twisted Angel D.D. Woodson, and always and forever FKG 401 Derek Forever. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up, Pushing Force style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Tuesday. And as I always say, no matter what anyone tells you, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.